today, Peter Brewer at the REIQ with CEO Antonia Mercarella. G'day, Antonia.
Hey, Peter.
Hey, exciting times. Lots of things happening with the new Act and all sorts of stuff going on. I know the industry's running around with its hands in the air saying, what's happening? What do we do? Give it to us in a couple of minutes. What's the REIQ doing to make sure that members are on track to know how to put these new things in place?
Okay, well, we're doing lots.
Okay.
So, obviously, one of the main activities is this statewide roadshow. 12 sessions all throughout the state, Southeast Queensland covered, North Queensland, Central Queensland. So we're coming to every corner of the state.
Wow, okay.
So that's the first thing.
Now, they're about 2 or 3 hours long.
3 hours long.
You're going through the Act in detail.
Taking them through the Property Occupations Act, through the regulations, and a couple of key changes also to the Agents Financial Administration Act. Taking them through the new Form 6, 7 and 8.
Okay.
And then we finish the day with some scenarios and some commonly asked questions.
Beautiful.
So absolutely critical, compulsory attendance at those.
Cool.
Everyone should be coming along to those. Obviously, Brisbane happened today, but we've still got another 11 roadshows to go. So I would really encourage anyone out there who hasn't registered to come along. We've still got room.
Really great session this morning. Intensive stuff. The opportunity to ask any question. There was no question was too hard.
No.
You took them all, and people walking out going, "Yeah, we get this space." So good. So there's the roadshow.
Yeah. So there's the roadshow. Tomorrow we are delivering a webinar, and that is available for members free of charge.
Nice.
We've got about 700 people registered for that. I think there's still an opportunity to register if you haven't. The webinar is focusing specifically on the Form 6, and then we'll also go through the Form 7 and 8.
Nice.
The webinar is please participate if you can, but I don't want agents to think that the webinar will suffice.
Yep.
It won't be a comprehensive overview of the Act. It's really just about those forms, and so people shouldn't think that the webinar in and of itself is enough.
Having said that, the webinar is being recorded and it's going to be available as a resource for members.
That's right.
Well.
So the webinar is being recorded, and we are recording one of our roadshows as well, and that both of those will be available on the member resources area of our website.
Okay.
So if you want to watch them at a later date and you're a member, you're able to do so. In addition to that, we've got a whole bunch of resources on the website available. We've got a fact sheet on how to complete a Form 6. We've got a comparative analysis which talks about how it works under PAMDA, how it works under the Property Occupations Act, and what are the key changes.
Nice.
And we've got a whole bunch of other bits and pieces that we've produced. We've done a couple of other videos. Obviously, you and I are doing these little videos
so we've
together.
got the roadshows, the webinars, the fact sheets, the website, and of course the training department. So all the manuals,
so the
being
training
updated.
department is furiously amending all of the training material. And look, obviously we want to make sure everybody is trained up prior to 1 December. But it goes without saying that throughout 2015, this will be the subject matter of most of our training next year. So the nice thing will be that next year we'll be able to focus on very specific topics and take people through in greater detail. But obviously, you need to get involved. Don't leave it to the last minute. You don't want to be rushing. In addition to all of that, Pete, we also offer obviously the member advisory line. So if you've got a question that we've not addressed in the roadshow or in the webinar, you can certainly call our member advisory hotline, and I'm sure we'll be able to answer the question.
So there's no reason for anyone to be sitting back saying, "Well, I have no access to information." It's there on the web, it's there on audio, it's on video, it's on fact sheets, it's on everything they want. Okay.
So whatever is your cup of tea, if you're whatever you prefer. I mean, I'm of the view that if you can get in a room face to face, that's always the best from my perspective. But look, we recognise that not everyone is able to do that, and that's the point of video recording those sessions, so that if for whatever reason you've not been able to physically get to one of those road shows, you're not going to miss out on the information. You'll still be able to listen at a later date.
And what a great resource to take some of those videos or those fact sheets and make them the subject of sales meetings or property management meetings inside people's businesses to actually say, so let's drill down on the 6 and the 7 and the changes and the contracts and
that's
all
right.
those sorts of things.
There's enough in this Act to keep you, lots of content there for staff meetings, but look, we're really encouraging people to get their heads around the new laws as quickly as possible. Start doing role plays in your office. Start doing little mini training sessions.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Antonia, I can't think of a better time or a more important time to be an REIQ member. Seriously, with these things happening, first of all, from the perspective that the Institute's been there fighting for members and fighting for the industry overall to get this act in place, which is there's so many nice refinements that make it easy. So to actually support the industry, or the Institute that's having that fight, but then the ongoing training. I don't have any thoughts for people who have sort of been on the edge thinking,
I'd like to think that anyone who's been umming and ahhing about becoming a member can now see the incredible value in being a member. So, look, certainly I think the feedback we're getting is that people are really appreciating how much information we're putting out there, the level of guidance we're giving, and obviously as the peak body, we've been involved in the development of this legislation, so we've got a unique insight. We're going to be able to give you the background to this stuff. We're going to be able to be accurate in the information that we're providing. So people need to be aware of some of the information that's coming out from other sources, yeah.
If you want the facts, we get the facts here.
I think so. And obviously we have a very close working relationship with the Office of Fair Trading. So over the last few weeks, when we've been putting together the content for the information for the roadshow, there've been a couple of things that have cropped up where I've been able to have a chat to Office of Fair Trading, get their interpretation of things. So it's always nice to know that the message that we're communicating is consistent with what the regulators' message is. Yeah. Obviously, the Office of Fair Trading aren't there to give us legal advice, and they won't give agents legal advice, but certainly what we've been able to do is say to them, look, this is what we're going to be communicating on this particular message. Does your position reflect that? So we've been able to get that. So we know that what we're training is consistent with what the OFT's view is, which means that if you do cop a visit from an OFT inspector and you're an REIQ member and you've been following what we've told you to do, then you're probably going to be safe.
I don't think we should underestimate that relationship and the value and trust that you've built with the Office of Fair Trading, that they will sit up and take notice of you and the things that you do, the things that you do and say on behalf of the industry, that most people could never ever do on their own from their own office level.
Absolutely.
And so for that representation and that voice is I think is a huge opportunity and a huge value. So many times people sit, I'll make a statement, so many people sit on the outside and say, oh, well, the REIQ do nothing and you achieve nothing. But you've been so busy behind the scenes putting all this together, and it's only when we see these things come to fruition that you go, wow, they are actually doing a lot of stuff there.
It's really funny you should say that, because after today's Brisbane session, we had an enormous amount of members come up and say, this is amazing. What you've done is amazing. And so even though we've been trying to communicate what's been going on behind the scenes, whether it be through the journal, through e-news, it's really only when you come to that roadshow and you see it all come together that people are really recognising the amount of change that we've been able to affect and how much easier things are. And so I think it's a great opportunity. If you're not already a member, I think it's really a great time for you to think about becoming one. And I think we're just thrilled with what we've been able to achieve. But also, moving forward, there'll be a review of the regulations. There'll be a review of the forms. And if you're not a member, we need that feedback from you. So as a member, you
don't get a voice.
You get a voice. So there's an opportunity there, as we said at the roadshow today. In 6 months' time, we will sit down and review the lay of the land. And so members are able to give that feedback to us and say, look, this is working well, but this isn't working well, so we need you to get some further tweaks happening. And so, again, I don't want people to see it as being a journey that's stopped. It's an ongoing process, and we've got lots of other things that we want to lobby for next year. In a residential tenancies sphere.
It's never ending.
And greater levels of professionalism, better quality training, all of those things. So there's still, even though we're really pleased with what we've been able to achieve with these legislative changes, there's a lot more to be done, and that's why we really need the vast majority of the industry to be with us and to be our members.
Look at this passion. Hey, look at this passion. Someone's pretty passionate about our industry. Antonia, thanks for spending a bit of time with us. Thanks for an update. Thanks for sharing some of your thoughts for the future with the members, and look forward to really great things for the future.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks, Peter.